answering some questions so people can get to know you and learn from your experience.
No problem.
All right. And so can you give us very shortly like your lean journey, your career a little bit, so people have a context of how many challenge years you have?
The challenging years are never going to end. We've been at it for probably, God, I don't even know, 15, 20 years now. And every day feels like the first day. Like as soon as you get to the next level, there's a level above. And when you get there, there's a level above. And so the stress and struggle is exactly the same the whole time. It's never going to end. We started out as a small custom woodworking company. We transitioned into manufacturing cabinet doors because I much preferred the high volume repetitive setting. And through trying to make the doors faster and lean thinking, we couldn't find the machines that we needed. So we started to develop them on our own. And that led to Stolbeck machines, where we manufacture sanding robots and edge sanding machines. We have about 5 machines now, some presses and some other things, but all of them are built with lean in mind. Like, it's the number one question. Everyone's like, hey, how come you only sand one door at a time? And I'm like, because that's the best way to do it. And from there, everything we developed came from the shop floor. We developed a software because we needed it on the shop floor. Now it's available to the world. It's Kaizenify.app. It's a lean performance dashboard with all your lean tools. And the saying, necessity is the mother of all invention. Well, I want to scratch that. I want to say lean is the mother of all invention, because no lean, no nothing.
Yeah, that's where you get creative, right? And find other solutions. So what would you say is the biggest mindset shift that you've had through these 15 years? Where has been your moment?
Oh, man, I think the first big aha moment was probably about 4 years in. We were trying to do it on our own, and I just couldn't. I mean, I read all the books, I got it, I just couldn't get the message across to my people, not in a way that they would participate in and understand. And then we hired someone. And so we had a lean expert come in, and his name was Jim Lewis, and that's all I needed to see. Long story short, we 10x'd our throughput in under 6 weeks. And when you see that happen, there is no more questions. There is no more like, I'm not sure if this lean thing, it's a matter of your understanding of lean. Like, it's not that lean doesn't work, it's you don't understand how it works. So even today, 20 years later, consulting, helping companies all over the world, I still run into scenarios where I'm just like, this is not a lean problem. This is a Brad problem. I need to elevate my learning one more time.
Great transition for this next question, Brad, because in your experience, as a coach, is going around the world teaching people about lean, what would you say that, there's some leaders that say they want lean, but then again, they act in a different way, and so it's not sticking because it's their mindset that hasn't changed. What do you say to them? How do you make them aware that the act that they have to do is different to go on a lean journey?
Oh my God, I don't even know. I mean,
you know what I mean? It's like, let's do lean, but I'll do improvements in my desk. You guys go ahead and tell me the results.
You, as the leader, your sleeves better be rolled up. Your hands better be. Look at my hands still from the plant today that we were at. My hands are dirty. Like, you got to get in there. You got to be in the trenches with your team. There's no doubt about it. You can't do it from your office. You can't outsource it to someone else. You are the one that has to drive it. And if it's not something that you want to do, there's no rules that say you have to run your business lean. You don't have to. It's just a heck of a good way to do it.
Yeah.
It's more fun. So yeah, that would be it. You gotta
Did you avoid giving coaching to those that you see they will not run with it? Can you identify that?
Well, I think over the years, I've changed my perspective a little bit, and I think this is important for people to understand. In the beginning, when you're trying to have a culture shift in your company, you have to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Even the people, because there's three kinds of people, right? There's the guys that are jumping in and saying, yes, wow, this is cool, I love it, let's do it. Then there's the guys on the fence that are like,
you don't know what.
If it works, I'm gonna do it. If it doesn't work, at least I didn't do it. And then there's the guys that are like heels dug in. They're not, they just don't want anything to do with it. And in the beginning, you have to present it to everyone equally. And you have to give everyone the same chance, because even the people with their heels dug in, the only difference between someone who's crazy about lean and someone who hates it is education. That's it. Because once you know it, there's just no possible way to dig your heels in. So you have to give those people the benefit of the doubt. Now, 20 years in, if you come to my company, you amalgamate immediately or you don't work there. Like there's no three strikes. There's, it's like, come on in, this is what we do. Oh, I don't want to clean the bathroom. No problem. There's the door. It's not the bathroom door, it's the exit door.
The goodbye door.
Yeah.
How do you build a culture, keeping the accountability but without having the fear?
Yeah, I think as owners, even leaders, managers, we take it really personal when there's a financial loss, and that's hard, And especially if you're in a position where you're hoping lean is going to save your company because you are struggling, it's really hard to take those, those punches with a grain of salt and just be like, hey, it's cool, we're experimenting, everybody. But in reality, that's what you have to do. You got to pay to play. Like when you went to college, it wasn't free. So why do you think education is going to be free in the workplace? It's not. You got to experiment. And as long as you're winning a little bit more than you're losing, you're going to be in the right direction. A funny story when we switched from commercial millwork to making doors, I can't tell you how fast we were going bankrupt. Because we switched cold turkey. This, zero millwork, so the shop had zero work, and Brad was on the street trying to sell doors. So we had no work coming in. The money was running out as fast as, it was scary. And I had never in my life made a door, not one. And everyone was like, what are you doing? How do you, there's companies out there making doors for 30 years. How do you think you're going to compete? I said, it's easy. We improve for an hour a day. So it's not if I will catch you, it's when. And now we're, 5-6 years into making doors. We're bar none the best MDF door in the world. And we just had that faith. We are improving every day. Yeah.
Okay, what would you say is the number one behavior a leader should have for continuous improvement? What is the behavior that would really make a culture change?
The hardest thing for a leader to do, and you can ask me how I know this, because it was the hard way, shut up.
Listen.
You're not the idea guy anymore. You're just not. You want to fix a process? No problem. I know I want to move that to there, and I know I want to do it, and I can have it done by 4 o'clock today. Nope. Hey guys, what do you think we should do? You got to stop being the idea guy, because then you just stifle that creativity. People will stop.
They'll wait for your direction.
That's right.
Yeah. So I guess that's the number one thing good that you can do, but also bad if you answer and say how to do, right? All right. What's your go-to method for introducing Kaizen in a team that's resistant or acceptable to go that direction? What is your method to introduce lean to them? I don't know any lean, and when you're coming to my shop, what is?
Okay, understand. So two-part question. And so when groups or teams are a little bit hesitant, we look for a win. We look for an easy win. We look for some little project. And I mean, listen, if you're walking into a factory that has, they're just starting lean, it's going to take you all of 8 seconds to find something where you're going to be like, hey guys, you think I'm crazy? I know, I get it. No problem. Come here. Let's run an experiment. Let's do a race. Let's do a simulation if you can't find something. Yeah. But you get an immediate win for the team. And then all you're trying to do is get the juices flowing at that point. You're just trying to get them to go like, maybe that guy's not crazy. Like maybe we should listen. The second part to that is if you have a group that have some people that are resistant, we team them up. We put them in pairs, and all of a sudden they can't not participate when they have a partner. And it doesn't even matter if it's a partner that doesn't want to participate either. But as soon as you put two people together, they just start solving problems.
They're both negative.
Yeah, they do it. As soon as you team them up.
Really?
Yeah.
They actually do something.
They actually do something. Preferably you can team them up with, but
one that pulls the other.
Yeah, except for in that instance, then sometimes the one person just stands around while the other one's busy doing the Kaizen. When you take the two that are fighting it, they got to come up with something. It's really fun to watch. It doesn't happen a whole lot, but it happens.
What do you think is the biggest fear of a leader that is learning for the first?
Easy.
What is his best fear?
Failure. Failure. And that starts when we're a kid. You spill the glass. What's the first thing? Why'd you do that? I told you not to do that. And so we have 30, 40, 50, 60 years of that every time something goes wrong. And no safety net. No safety net. You have to hear our podcast. And then so I think it's fear and fear of being wrong, and then fear of being wrong in front of their team, because they're supposed to be the one with all the answers. You gotta flip that, right? Mm-hmm. So I would just say fear, and that trickles down. I would say your team is hesitant on improvements because of fear.
Right.
Like, do you yell at them when they screw up? Do you,
Interesting.
Careful with that.
How do you define, like, we talk a lot about respect and how important it is in the lean journey, respect for people. How do you translate that? Put it in actionable words. What respect for people is for Brad Cairns that have all these 15 years of lean experience? I'm going to
pre-qualify this and emphasize the two words that you said was for Brad Cairns. Okay, because I can just see the comments right now. They're going to explode. Listen, you do lean your way, I'm going to do lean my way. I, for 20 years, confused respect for people with keep everybody. Mm-hmm. And it is true as the sky is blue that if someone in my shop is failing, it's my fault. And I accept that. Mm-hmm. However, there's a possibility. First, I'm the only one that's not going anywhere. So you got to live with me. And I might not be a good enough leader for you. Mm. I might not be able to take a 2 to an 8. I can take a 6 to an 8. That's my ability to lead. And so some people just aren't going to make it. And the saying that I'm loving lately is, you can't turn a donkey into a racehorse. And no matter how much you love him and how cute he is and how you want to hug him and cuddle him, if you put him out on the track, he's getting killed. Okay, so if you can identify, you have to do a little donkeyectomy in your business, and sometimes you just got to get rid of those ones.
Well, you can't.
You can't turn a donkey into a racehorse.
All right, Katie, and I have another question for you. How What's your favorite low-cost, high-impact Kaizen you've seen in the last year? Like you visit all these plants. What's one that blew you away? It's like, wow, that was so creative. That's a very cool story.
I would start with my story because we had a building that was 8,000 square feet at the time. We were busting at the seams. We had POs out for equipment. We were talking about putting an extension on the building. The shop was full of parts and stuff. Like we looked super busy. And we were producing like 5 finished cabinets a day on average. One day it's 20, nothing, 15, nothing, 8. But over the month, do the math, 5 a day. And Jim, way back when, came in and started teaching us. And I mean, like every single day that went by, we increased our throughput and reduced our work in process. And increased our throughput and reduced our work in process. And every week, we doubled our production. And so we went, the first week was 5, the second week was 10, the third week was 20, the next week was 40, and we topped out at about 55 boxes a day. $0 spent, 0 people hired, 5 to 55.
So how did you do it?
I mean, you gotta read some books, man. Toyota Way, 2-second lean, a lean deal.
All right, there's more to it, right, than just an answer. How do you sustain momentum in the organization? You know, we talked a little while ago how you go up and down, and how do you keep that consistency? What does a leader need to do to continue having that lean transformation? Because as you know, everybody's just watching the leader see he's going to give up in the first 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and they're like, don't worry, it's flavor of the month. So what does a leader need to have as a momentum, energy there to make that?
I think the broad assumption is that you have to be this lean zealot cheerleader out there every day, rah, 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 rah. And I think in reality, you want your team doing that, but like we said, it comes and goes in waves. And one of the best examples that I've heard was from Michael at Yellow Tools. He said he was watching surfers, and they're out there, and they're just waiting for that perfect wave. And then when the perfect wave comes, they ride it, and then they wait. And so it's not this, like on the charts, it looks like this, right? But really it's like, you're waiting for that opportunity, then you make a good improvement, and then you're waiting. So I think the leader's job is to recognize the downside. Like when everyone's excited, you don't need to get in there and be excited. But you do need to recognize when your morning meetings are getting boring and shake it up. You know, you do need to recognize when your improvement time turns into just sweeping. You know, you do need to recognize those things, and I think that's where you insert yourself with that lean zealot energy, get it back up to where it goes, and let the people take it again and ride the next wave.
And what do you look for when, like, you have to assess a company? You know, you go in, you told me a little while ago, I can see this company is a A, B, C, D, or whatever terminology you use. Don't quote me on that. But what is the type of assessment you do to a team that is really true ready for transformation? Like, are they going to waste my time? Or even if you get paid, it's a question of why even bother if they're not going to? So how do you detect?
It's so easy. It's so easy. And you can ask me how I know this too. Did we do it wrong a lot of times? Yes. Because we thought when someone hired you, they were in. We quickly learned that's not always the case. And to your point now, if you call us and we get a hint of any of the following things, we're done. We're just like, we're really busy. You know, I'm sorry, we can't. You know, at the end of the day, this is our life energy too. I can spend it with my people. I can spend it with your people. I can spend it with people that are going to take it in. I don't need to be there with people that aren't. And so the key is the owner. And you listen to how they talk. If they say, those idiots, no one cares. I can't get anyone to care. If all they talk about is money, it's like those three. That's like 3 strikes. We're out.
Okay. So the bad negative language.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but more derogatory towards the people.
Mm-hmm.
They, when they start saying they, it's like, this company would be great if it wasn't for them. It's like, no bad teams, buddy, only bad coaches. So.
Okay, this next question has got to do with standards, and I know you have the Kaizen 5, right? The system to do standards and all of these good tools. How do you balance standard work with having them do innovation and just running experiments? Like, because people think, oh, there's a standard, and there's a myth that a standard is like, don't touch.
Right.
So how do you balance that?
So the first thing we do is we don't run around haphazardly creating standards for the sake of creating standards. And maybe if I had like a department that did that, I would, because it's better to have more standard. But when a problem happens, question 1, where's the standard? Okay, no standard. Okay, well that's why we had the problem. Stop there. Make a standard. Carry on. No more questions. Problem detected. Was there a standard? Yes. Where's the standard? Go get it. We either pull it up on the computer or find a printout. Was the standard followed? No. Why? This literally happened to me last week with someone standing, and I'm like, hey, you're causing defects. And he's like, well, I found it easier this way. And part of our thing is like, hey, make your job easier, fix what bugs you, whatever. But I'm sorry, you're causing defects. So we take the standard and we put it in front of them, like, please follow this standard. So once a standard's created, you follow the standard. But that standard is only the best what we know today. If you want to challenge the standard, you just put your head up and go, hey, I think I have an idea. We'll pull some product aside. You do your thing. We've got all the timers. We've got the production timer and Kaizenify. Like, dude, we'll run the experiment. And if yours is better, tomorrow, everyone's doing it your way.
So you let them do experiment to validate, and you do a PDCA, let's say, exercise, and then you change. Okay.
You got it.
Have you ever had a Kaizen project completely fail on you, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, oh man, I mean,
you know where the questions go.
Yeah, you have so many failures, like that's half the fun. We had one where we were coming up with some crazy dust collection idea at our sanding tables, and man, it was bad. Like, 0 dust got sucked up after our experiment, and we spent like a couple days on like cutting pipes and building this fancy bench, and it did not work. And my whole team freaked out when I started laughing and made a YouTube video. And they're like, what? And I'm like, hey, this, it didn't work. We just eliminated one more thing. Like, who cares? Get used to failing.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing, is it? What would you say people having, that they fail all the time?
The hardest thing for a leader to do is watch someone fail. Because if I see you about to do something that I know I could intervene and I could fix, and I'm going to save myself $50 right on the spot, I'm going to jump in and be like, oh, hey, don't do that. You're going to wreck that. And then the person got 0 learning. So I look at all of that stuff now as learning. I'm like, oh, they're about to learn something. As long as they're not chopping off an arm or a leg, and it's not like $100,000, learn.
Do you think that a leader could change their mindset into being lean, or do you think that just some people are built that way, they will never get it? Or do you think that could be transformed? Because many will work on their organization that their management is not lean. Do you think you could change that? And if so, what would it take?
We get this call a lot, as people reach out to us and they're like, hey, my boss isn't into this thing, but I want to do it so bad. Like, what do I do? I'm like, the only thing you can do is put the book on their desk. So they pick it up and read it and call you at 2 a.m. going, I couldn't put this book down. When can we start? You're in the right place. If they're trying to outsource it to you, It's done.
It won't
It's
work.
dead. Leave, run.
Brad, what do you think would be the biggest lesson that you have had these 15 years?
Biggest lesson. Oof. So many.
The one.
The biggest lesson? Oh yeah, okay. Bar none. It's all about the people. That is the biggest lesson. Like, as soon as, and I'm talking, yeah, we'll unbox that. It's all about the people, and I mean all of them. So it starts with your employees. Your job is all about them. Then it's all about the people in your community. Because without the lean community that I'm in now, I would have zero friends, literally. And like, tell me who your friends are. I'll tell you what your future is. I can't tell you what happened to my life. The minute I started, not watching football on Sundays, drinking beer, and hanging out with guys who are running multi-million-dollar organizations, all of a sudden, and I don't know what that is. Like, is it because when I have a problem, I can call you and be like, hey, Alex, I got this issue. What's going on? And you're like, oh.
They say you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with.
Yeah. So change your crowd, and your life will change. Like, the books you read will change. The shows you watch will change. The places you go will change. I mean, I literally have seen the whole world almost because of this lean community. Philip in Portugal, Michael in Germany, Ashley Bailey in the UK, Paul in Seattle, Jeff Cost in Seattle. Like it just like. Alex in Texas. But it's like it's the people.
Okay.
It's the people.
It's who.
The rest is going to come from that. They're going to tell you what books to read. You still got to do the work.
Who is your biggest mentor?
Oh my goodness. I don't think it would be fair to say I have a number one mentor. The person that started it all was Jim Lewis. So if we draw the family tree, it starts with Jim Lewis. He got us into the lean.
Okay.
And then we just bolted rockets on that when we met Paul Akers.
Mm.
And Paul is the most generous person on planet Earth, and he has this superpower of connecting the right people.
Mm.
I mean,
he's built a great community.
And so
that's why we're here.
If it wasn't for Paul, no Brad and Alex, And so I would say I'm at different people for different things,
Mm-hmm.
Like I call Paul for one thing, I call Jeff Koss for another thing, I call Michael in Germany for another thing, I call Josh Springer at Bottoms Up for another thing. It just depends on what problem I'm trying to solve. But that core group, God, I could name them all, like Greg at Solid Design. It didn't even occur to me to build a machine for myself. I just thought you bought machines until I went to Greg's, and he has this Frankenstein machine that pumps out a finished part. And I'm like, you built that? He's like, yeah, we built it. Well, had I not seen that, had I not went to SnapCap and seen Glenn building his own machines, it would have never occurred to me to start building my own. And I'm really glad we did.
What's next for Brad? What's in the bucket list that you haven't?
The ultimate bucket list is to have Paul come to my shop and be impressed. And over the years, we should have closed down that door company 55 times. But I can't let it go because it's not perfect. The minute the floors are epoxied white and there's no dust and there's pure flow and we don't have defects, happy to sell the company. But I can't. That's my
until
mission.
It's perfect.
Until it's
That'll
perfect.
never happen.
Well, and that's I guess I have a door company.
If we go
forever.
through the true mindset of continuous improvement, that is always unreachable, but it's your journey.
Yeah.
Last question, but maybe a provocative question. If you were to be someone, who would you like to be? what shoes would you like to experiment?
Has to be one? That's not fair.
I always have the one thing.
I'm gonna say Michael Althoff from Yellow Tools in Germany.
Why?
When you see him with people, you've never seen anything like it. And I don't know if I could ever be that good. So the only way to possibly experience that would be to magically step into his shoes.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Cool.
he's unbelievable.
Last recommendation for people that just want to maybe seeing this video, this interview, and thinking, well, what is the first thing I should do? What book should I read? What is it that I should approach? What community I should contact? What's the first step they need to do? Like a little stream
Yeah.
to introduce, because there's so much information. They just started. They probably are a very small business, and what is the one thing they can do to just start their journey? And sorry, I keep saying this is the last question, but you keep acting. You keep reacting in my mind with new questions.
It's okay, and that one is like, find someone and call them. Like find me, call me. We have this stupid phone in our pocket 24 hours a day. I got time to return a text message. Find you, call you.
Reach out to
Find a friend who you heard is doing this lean thing. Just call them. And then the very next step in the perfect world would be ask them where to go see it. Because until you see it, you don't believe it. Like, what is this lean thing? Everybody needs to answer the question, what's in it for me? So get that question answered quick. Like, call me, tell me what city you're in. I'll connect you with someone who's doing lean at a decent level, and just go spend half an hour with them.
Yeah.
And decide if that's for you.
Yeah.
You know, you might be like, nah, that's not for me.
And it's true that the lean community is very giving. So it's not like.
Do you want the craziest story?
Sure.
Like goosebumps, tears, craziest story? So this is probably 5 years ago now, maybe more. We're struggling at the shop with glue. We're gluing doors together, doesn't matter. We're getting glue squeeze out in a bad spot, okay? And we cannot figure it out. And you know, I'm reaching out, talking to my friends, and I'm chatting with Philip at Torre in Portugal, just like what's happening or whatever. And I'm like, man, we're just beating our head against the wall with this glue problem. We just, we're at the end of our rope and I can't figure it out. I literally thought nothing of the conversation. One guess at who walked in my door the next week. From Portugal. He flew to Canada to come to my shop, and he's like, hey, let's fix that glue problem. He's a wife and kids and a company that he has to run, and I'm complaining about glue, and he flies over and walks in my shop. I will never forget that.
Wow.
Never. And this insane community, like, I don't know if we're all that crazy. Like, I called you, I'm in Texas, you're like, wait, come stay at my house. I went to Germany to see Michael. I got off the plane and that was it. I had a car, I had somewhere to stay, I had food. Like, it's that pay it forward thing, man. We take it serious.
Very good. Okay, well, thank you very much for all those insights. Anything that I haven't asked that I should have asked?
No, I think we covered a lot of good ground. I think the most important thing to understand is it's never going to end. It's never going to be easy. So if you think that creating a Kanban system is hard, do your purchasing without it. It's going to be hard. If you think that creating SOPs is time consuming and hard, train someone with no SOPs and see how hard that is. If you think learning this lean thing is going to be hard, run your company without it.
Like you said, you can always run a company. You don't need to do it. Just go ahead. Just keep doing what you're doing.
I mean, listen, you got to pick your heart.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Appreciate it.